Your brain is addicted to the wrong people. That sentence sounds dramatic, almost like a headline meant to shock you. But it explains more of your relationship history than you realize. If you have ever missed someone who treated you badly, if you have ever felt drawn to someone who made you anxious, or if you have ever felt obsessed with someone who gave you just enough to keep you hoping, then you have felt this system working inside you. You did not imagine it. You did not choose it. Your nervous system learned it. What most people call love is often just a chemical feedback loop between fear and relief. The truth is, the human brain does not bond solely to kindness. It bonds to intensity. And intensity is almost always created by uncertainty. When someone is unpredictable, your brain stays in a state of high alert. When they disappear, your body releases cortisol, the stress hormone. When they come back, dopamine floods your system. That relief feels powerful. It feels like a breakthrough. But most importantly, that relief feels like connection. Over time, your brain links that person to your emotional survival. They become the source of your pain and the source of your comfort at the exact same time. This is the foundation of emotional addiction. This is why logic fails. You can sit in a room with your friends, list every terrible thing this person has done, and agree that they are wrong for you. You can know it intellectually, yet still crave them the moment you're alone. You are not fighting memories. You are fighting chemistry. Your brain is chasing the next emotional release. In psychology, there is a concept called intermittent reinforcement. It is a basic law of behavior. It states that the more inconsistent a reward is, the stronger the craving for it becomes. Think about a slot machine. If you won every single time you pulled the lever, the game would eventually become boring. You would stop playing. But because you might win, and because you don't know when you become obsessed, every message, every look, every tiny moment of attention becomes a possible reward. Your nervous system waits. It hopes. It scans. It reacts. That cycle is not love. That cycle is the bond. Now, compare that to someone who treats you well all the time. When someone is consistent, your brain does not have to guess. There is no tension. There is no chase. To a nervous system trained in emotional instability, that calm feels empty. It feels flat. It feels boring. But when someone is hot and cold, when they give you affection one day and distance the next, your body goes into survival mode. It tries to predict their behavior to stay safe. It tries to earn their approval to stop the pain of the cold shoulder. That effort creates attachment. Not the healthy, secure attachment we all need, but a frantic, desperate attachment. This is why toxic relationships feel so much more intense than healthy ones. They keep your nervous system activated. Your heart races when you see their name on your phone. Your stomach drops when they go quiet for 3 days. Your relief feels overwhelming when they finally call. That roller coaster is what you become attached to. You think you miss them, but you really miss the emotional spike they created inside you. You are addicted to the high that follows the low. Most people think trauma bonding only happens in cases of extreme abuse, but it happens in subtle ways every day. It happens whenever affection is paired with fear, whenever love is mixed with uncertainty, whenever closeness is followed by a sudden withdrawal. Your brain learns a very dangerous lesson, that love must feel unstable to be real. And because the brain values what feels intense, it starts to crave the very things that hurt it. This is why people often say healthy relationships feel off. They aren't off, they are just quiet. And quiet feels unfamiliar to a nervous system that grew up in emotional chaos. If you learned as a child or in early relationships that love means walking on eggshells, then safety will feel suspicious. If you learned that affection must be earned through performance or suffering, then unconditional love will feel like a trick. Your brain also has a built-in mechanism that makes it harder to leave. It remembers pain differently when addiction is involved. It creates something called memory bias or euphoric recall. When you are in withdrawal, your brain fades out the bad moments. It hides the memories of the arguments, the lies, and the nights you spent crying on the floor. Instead, it puts a spotlight on the good moments. You replay the laughter. You replay that one weekend where everything felt perfect. Why does it do this? Because the brain is trying to protect the bond that gives it dopamine. It wants its fix. This is why you check their social media. This is why you imagine them coming back, suddenly changed. This is why you replay old conversations in your head, looking for hidden meanings. It is not nostalgia, it is withdrawal. Your body is physically reacting to the loss of a chemical supply. And just like with any addiction, withdrawal is painful. Your body feels empty. Your mind feels restless. You feel pulled back to what hurt you because, at least in that chaos, you felt alive. There is another, deeper layer to this trap: self-worth. If you believe, even deep in your subconscious, that you are hard to love, then inconsistency feels logical to you. When someone makes you work for their affection, it fits your internal narrative. It feels right that you have to struggle for love. Conversely, when someone gives you love easily and freely, it feels uncomfortable. It creates cognitive dissonance. You think, if I'm not worthy of love, why is this person giving it to me? There must be something wrong with them. So, you chase the people who confirm your doubts about yourself. You become more attracted when someone pulls away. The distance triggers your fear of loss. Fear triggers craving. Craving feels like desire. But let's be very clear. It is not desire. It is panic in disguise. The brain does not know the difference between excitement and anxiety. Both feel like arousal. Both make your heart race. Both make your thoughts fixate. That is how emotional addiction disguises itself as passion. Breaking this pattern does not start with a grand gesture. It doesn't start with blocking someone, though, that helps. It starts with understanding what your body is actually doing. You are not broken. You are not crazy. You are conditioned. Your nervous system learned a specific language, and now it seeks out speakers of that language. The first step is awareness. Next time you feel a spark with someone who is inconsistent, ask yourself, is this kindness or is it uncertainty? Is this warmth or is it tension? If someone makes you feel constantly unsure of where you stand, that is not chemistry. That is your stress response being activated. The second step is learning to tolerate calm. This is the hardest part. Healthy connections do not create adrenaline. They do not create obsession. They create safety. Initially, safety will feel like a letdown. You must allow yourself to be bored until your nervous system recalibrates. Boredom is simply the absence of chaos. Boredom is the doorway to peace. The final step is letting the pattern die. This does not happen overnight. It happens when you stop feeding the loop, when you stop chasing the reward, when you allow your nervous system to settle into the discomfort of the quiet. Over time, the craving weakens, the obsession fades, the bond loosens. You do not stop loving people. You stop being addicted to the pattern. Once you see this system for what it is, a chemical loop, a gambling mechanic, a survival response, you cannot unsee it. You will begin to recognize it in your past, in your choices, and in the people you used to chase. And in that awareness, you find your power. You are no longer a passenger to your chemistry. You are the driver. If this resonated with you, I encourage you to explore the rest of our series on attachment and obsession. We go much deeper into how these loops form and, more importantly, how they can be permanently changed. Understanding your mind is the first step to taking control of your life.